Hi, I'm Kate Anderson. Thank you for coming today to yoga. This is going to be a gentle yoga class that is themed for students with low bone density. If you have been diagnosed with low bone density, which might be osteopenia or osteoporosis, these poses that we're going to do today should really help to strengthen all of your bones, and by getting your muscles stronger, we can get your bones stronger. But I do need to say, if you've never done yoga before, you might want to check with your doctor first or check with a healthcare provider just to make sure this new exercise or new movement practice is really going to be safe for you and it's going to benefit you and your body. So if that sounds good and you feel ready to get started, you can set up a couple props, maybe sitting in a chair, or we can have a chair handy for balance. That's really great when we want the bones to get strong, just because you have that, extra support. You can also have a strap with you. If you don't have a yoga strap, that's fine. You can also get a belt or sometimes a necktie. And then from here, you might have a block. This is also optional. If you don't have a block, you might want a blanket or a pillow, because there might be a pose or two where you just need a little extra support at the end of class. Then I have one other prop here. I have a pillow. So when we start talking about yoga for any students with low bone density, we want to really make sure we're avoiding any flexion. So when I say flexion, I mean slouching and rounding the spine. So we don't want to round the spine. And this is really true for everybody. We don't want to do this, but especially when we have low bone density. So I'm just going to show you what we want to avoid. We want to avoid curling in like this and completely rounding, because at that point it's very vulnerable for the low back and for the curve of the neck, because they're not in the best position. We want to keep this curve in the low back even if we're folding. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today, but also what might help you not to slump back here and slouch here at your back, at your hips. You can put a small pillow, or even a larger pillow than this, whatever works. Maybe roll up a towel, and you could put it behind your lumbar, behind your low back, so that when you do sit in your chair, you could always put a pillow underneath, because that can feel good too. And then from here, you could put something rolled up behind your low back, so you can still sit up nice and tall, but you have some support there. And you can see here that I'm not slouching, I'm not curling down, but I have a lift up. My sit bones are pressing down. I have a lift up from the rib cage, lifting away from the hips, but there's still that curve there, and I can support it. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. I just wanted you to get cozy and get comfortable. If you're sitting on the floor, you can just cross your legs. If you're sitting in the chair, we can set up any pillows or blankets that feel good. Now that you're ready to start, find the position that's best for you. We're going to start with centering. Let your hands come down to your legs if that's okay. Make sure your hands aren't over your knees, but slide them back so your shoulders can come back, your elbows can come back. We'll just take a few moments here. Can you settle into the chair or settle to the floor and gently close your eyes and check in with your breath. Let your breath slow down. Let it come and go. And notice wherever you are, can you press your sits bones? Press them down to the floor, down to the chair. Gently lift the navel up and in. Your tailbone is grounding. Let it point to the earth. And the crown of the head is reaching up. Shoulders are soft on the back. You want to find a long spine and a balance between effort and ease. Give yourself a moment to scan the body. How does the body feel this morning or this afternoon? maybe you're even checking in the evening. Scan your body. Let's start with hands at the heart center. You can set your intention. And as your hands come down, we're going to release the hands maybe to the floor or the sides of the chair. And before we start moving, just make sure you check in. We don't want to do anything that's painful, anything that's not going to feel good or be discomforting. You really want to be careful with that. So especially with low bone density, listen to your body. Inhale, taking the arms up. Only go as high as it's comfortable. We want this to feel pretty easy. Exhale, let the arms come down. So you might be breathing in and out of your nose, inhaling up, exhaling down. Let's try 3 more together. Inhaling up, feel your breath. Good, maybe 1 more. Inhale up, your level, your pace. Exhale down. Then from here, again, we want to keep this really gentle and really easy. Let your right hand stay on the chair or the side of the floor. Let your left arm come up. Relax your left shoulder. Keeping your arm wide might help you do that. Lift up through the crown of the head again. Lift up through the navel. Very easy and open side stretch. Nothing crazy deep. Can you reach that left hand up? Inhale to lift. Same thing here, go slow. You really want to listen to your body. Keep this open and easy, not a crazy stretch, nothing too deep. Inhale, we'll come back up. Good, let your arms come down, and then as your arms come back to your legs, let's roll the shoulders up and back a couple times. And then from here, let your shoulders settle on your back. Can you start to come back to your beautiful posture, navel up and in gently, finding that balance of effort and ease. And it's almost like your shoulder blades have pockets that they're setting into. Lengthening up through the crown of the head, can you notice your neck now? You don't want to lift your chin. The best thing to do for your posture is maybe draw your chin down towards your throat. Can you imagine that you're holding a peach under your chin? Lengthen up through the crown of the head, lifting the back of the head up. The chin can slightly drop down. Finding that balance at the neck and head, then take it into a really slow movement. Only the neck and head are going to change. Can you slowly rotate to the right, but don't lift your chin, keep it down. Maybe you look over your right shoulder, keep it easy. Inhale back to the center. Just work with your range of motion. Where can you go? Not forcing it. Can you turn and look to the left? The chin stays down, you're still sitting tall. Exhale around to the front. Good, then from here, take a gentle side stretch with only your neck. Can you take the right ear to the right shoulder, only the neck opening on the left side? Inhale up. Good, right ear, right shoulder. Or the other way, left ear, left shoulder. Inhale, we'll come back up. All right, now from here, just gently lift your heels and toes. If you're in the chair, you can kind of do that to warm up the legs a little bit. If you're seated on the floor, you can start to uncross your legs and stretch your legs out. We can just kind of move the legs a little bit, make sure you're loosened up. Now come up very carefully to standing. You can have your chair nearby if you would like to use it. Now once you come up to standing, we can place the chair in front of us. It can be in front of your mat. And you can use it the whole time. You would be using it like this and kind of stepping wide and using it for balance. If you prefer to take the chair away, you can always move it to the side. Now, we do want to keep it close by so there's no risk of, kind of any jerky movements. There's no risk of falling. It's just easy to hold it. And then from here, I just want to make sure you can really see my legs. So I'm not going to keep my chair here. I'm going to move my chair to the side. And now I've got like an invisible chair that I'm going to talk about sometimes. So you can be close to your chair, you can be touching it, you can have your legs close to it, whatever feels good. Open up the palms of the hands. Let yourself come into your first mountain pose. So we want the feet to come to parallel. Gently lift the kneecaps. Can you spiral the inner thighs? So the inner thighs point back. Navel comes up and in, tailbone reaches down. Now again, can you notice your neck and head? Can you slightly bring the chin towards the throat so you open up space in your neck? You're finding your own balance between effort and ease. Good, then from here, let's see if we can take one hand to the navel. Can you take the opposite hand to your low back? I'm going to turn to show you. You could have your opposite hand not on the curve, but slide it down so it's on your sacrum. It's behind your pelvis. Your sacrum is at the middle of the pelvis, where your spine connects down into the pelvis. That's where you can find your sacrum. And then it should feel, a little bony. It's almost like a shape of a crab shell. It's hollow. So you can have one hand there, the back of it there, and one hand to the navel. And I want you to feel in mountain pose, there's a couple things happening. We want the curve of the low back, but not overarching it. So can you take your hand to your sacrum, draw the tailbone down, draw the navel up and in. Now feel that when you engage the center of the body, it is not just the front. It's the navel up and in. Sacrum moves into the front belly wall. You find your strength there. So make sure you're still breathing. We haven't talked about the breath too much. Just don't hold it. Relax your arms, shake out your arms. Now from this mountain pose, again, you can be touching the chair. If you moved out of it a little bit like me, just come back to your focus. Let the palms open. Find where the navel's up and in. Tailbone points down. Crown of the head lifting up. Good. From here, let's take a big breath. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to hips. Step your feet out wide. And then from here, turn your feet to face forward. Make sure they point to the same direction. And then if I'm your mirror, turn your whole left leg out to 90 degrees. The right toes in the back, they come in. The right heel can press away. It's about 30 degrees there. Bend into your left knee. And then we're going to find warrior two. Your hands can help again. Navel up and in. Right hand to the belly. Left hand to the inner thigh. I'm not pushing hard. I'm just making sure my knee doesn't cave inward. I have to make sure it stays over the ankle, and you might be able to see your big toe. That can help you tell that the knee is over the ankle. Good, keeping that 90 degrees there. Let the arms lift. Now think about where your arms were in mountain pose. Is the navel up and in? Sacrum moving in. Tailbone pointing down. You might look over the left hand. Take a few breaths here in your warrior two. Inhale, straighten that left leg, turn your gaze back to the side. Don't hang on the knee, don't lock your knee, keep it a little bent. Reach your left hand over the left foot, tailbone to the right. Windmill the arms if you can, or we can always keep one hand on the chair if that feels better. Navel up and in, your triangle pose. The crown of the head lines up with your spine and the back leg. Can you spread your fingers? Get a little more energy here. Bend into that front knee. Warrior two. And then as you gaze out over that front hand, turn your gaze back to the side, extended side angle. Keep the legs where they are. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, reach left hand over the left knee. Reach as far as you can. And then take that left forearm to the thigh. Good. Your right hand, you could just go to the chair. You could take your right hand to the hip. Some of you like it behind the body. You can do that. Or your extended side angle, we might walk that right arm all the way up next to the ear, sinking in a little deeper. Good. Now can you keep your legs strong? Inhale, warrior two. Hands come down. Straighten the legs slowly. Feet turn forward. Walk your feet in slowly. Heel toe. Walk the feet in. All right, shake it out. Let's go back to mountain pose. Check in here that you're opening the palms. Letting energy press down through the feet towards the earth, but at the same time lift the navel up and in. Draw energy up through the crown of the head. Feel your balance between effort and ease. Inhale, arms up again. Exhale, hands to hips. As you step out wide, again, just make sure you keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. You can touch the chair if that helps you. Turn your whole right leg to 90 degrees. Let it come out. Your left toes come in the back, left heel away. Feet line up together. You bend into your right knee. Here you can take one hand to the inner thigh, inner knee, one hand to the navel. Feel your engagement there. Navel up and in, tailbone down. That front knee doesn't fall in. That's our common mistake. We don't want it to cave in. Press it over the ankle. Good. Arms come up. Spread your fingers. Gaze to the right. Your warrior two. You can always take a break earlier if you need to. Maybe stay a little longer. Inhale, straighten that front right leg. Don't lock your knee. Don't hang on the ligaments. Then from here, stretch your right hand out over the right hip, tailbone to the left, navel up and in the whole time. Windmill your arms. Press that right hand to the right leg. Spread your fingers. Get more active in the pose. Inhale, lengthen, or inhale, bend that front knee. Go back to warrior two. All right, now we'll go to extended side angle. You can turn your gaze to the side. Reach your right hand over the right knee. Reach, reach, reach. Right elbow, right forearm to the leg. Left hand can do a couple things. It could go to your hip, your chair, behind your back, or that left arm could come up next to your ear. We don't want to collapse on this arm. We want to use it to help us open the ribs to the side. Keep your legs strong if you can. Carefully. Inhale, coming out. Straighten the legs. Toes turn forward. Walk your feet in. And shake it out. All right. Now today we're going to take a balancing pose. We're going to move into a warrior three position. So you really have to honor your body. I'm going to go slow. And you can stop anytime, honoring your practice, honoring your body. I'm going to do it from the side. You can face any direction. Now from here, we always want to come back to our mountain pose. Check in with your feet. Are they centered? Check in with your kneecaps. Can they gently lift up? Maybe you're touching your chair or the palms of the hands open again. Good. See if you can draw the navel up, but the tailbone down. Crown of the head is reaching. Now from here, you could take your hands to the chair, or you could take hands to heart center. Roll your shoulders back. Now we're going to shift our weight slowly to the right leg. If you're touching the chair, your hands could be here. Your left foot is going to slide back, so your left toes and the ball of the foot can stay on the floor. We could absolutely stay there. We're working to straighten the right leg and bring that left hip around so they're even. Bring that left thigh around. So usually if we have the foot back, we have to hinge at the hips a little bit. Navel up and in. Keep that line really long. No rounding. If you pick up that back left leg, the toes face the floor. Now again, we want a long line from the head to the back foot. No rounding of the spine. You could let one hand come away. You could let both hands come away, stretching out. This might be more challenging, stretching the arms up beyond the ears, reaching past the crown of the head. Good. Listen to your body. Come out the same way, very slow. Hands come down. Navel stays up and in as you release. And bring that foot back. Walk your feet. Let's do it one more time. Mountain pose. Open the palms. Navel up and in. Shift your weight. Take your hands to the heart. Shift your weight to the left leg. Or you can touch your chair. Right foot steps back. Right toes on the earth. Good. Again, can you square your hips? Bring that right hip around. Let them both face forward again. When you start to take that foot behind you, you want to hinge at the hips a little. See how I went from standing upright to now my body lines up with my back leg. That's our goal, to keep one long line, even if you pick up the back right foot, even if you stretch your arms out, or up to the sky. Can we keep one long line? Sometimes warrior three goes a little more parallel, but you don't have to. You just keep your long line. Hands can come back, down slowly, navel up and in as you bring that foot back. And walk your legs. Shake them out. Good. Now from here, let's go ahead and grab your strap. And I want to do one heart opener standing before we come down to our bellies. So if you have your yoga strap, you could fold it if it's a really long one. And then from here, you can hold onto the strap with your palms facing down towards the body or palms facing in towards the body. And then you can kind of get your hands around it. We're just going to do a standing cobra. I don't want you to go too far. I want you just to only go to your comfort level. What feels good for your body? Find mountain pose, navel up and in, shoulders are back, knees are a little bent. Can you start to take the hands down away from the shoulders? Then maybe squeeze the shoulders together and the hands come away from the body a little bit. Good. Can you gently, gently stand up nice and tall, but don't lock your knees. Lift your gaze. And then slowly bring your gaze down and relax it. So you're letting go of that cobra, and you can take your strap to the side. So it's just a standing cobra. I'm going to do it one other way. If you don't have the strap, this can feel good too. I'll show you a couple. You could go to mountain pose, interlace the hands. That can be another way to do it. But also, we're going to go to the floor next, and if that doesn't feel right for your body, you could do a couple more of these, standing or sitting, just getting the arms behind you, work those shoulders back, and you'll start to open up along the collarbones and along the front of the heart, which we definitely want to do when we're avoiding rounding forward. We want to open up as much as possible. And that's for everybody. You know, gravity takes us forward a lot. We want to open up as much as possible. So, now getting ready to come to the floor. If you feel capable, we're going to lay on our bellies. If you don't feel capable of that, please skip it. You can do some of those standing cobras. So it's your choice. Come down if you want, maybe to tabletop. That can feel good. And then I don't want to complicate it. Just come down carefully. You don't want to round your back. You want a long table, navel up and in. And then just carefully maybe walk your hands forward and bring everything down to the floor at one time if you can, so there's no rounding. Let's start with crocodile. Your hands could come to your top of the mat, hands together. Relax your forehead down. So this is a point in the video where you're going to see me kind of with my head up and talking. I don't have a fancy microphone. So try to just keep your head down and only look up when it's necessary for you. So crocodile, again, I will demonstrate it. It's arms together or hands together. Feet could go wider. That could be a little gentler. Or feet could be together. Your forehead is what's resting on your arms or on your hands. The next thing we're going to do is our low cobra. So if you feel ready for it this morning, I keep saying morning, whatever time of day it is, if you feel ready for it, slide your hands back alongside of you. You can draw your chin down, forehead will face the floor. It might touch the floor, but if it feels better, just have it an inch or two away. Draw your shoulders back, elbows back, legs stay down. Inhale, start to lift the upper body where you can, keeping the chin down. But now let's test it out. Can you lift your hands off your mat a couple inches? And then lower the hands right back down, but don't press into them too much. Feel your cobra. Exhale down when you're ready. You can go back to crocodile. Hands could come up. And let's do one more back bend here while you're on your belly. We're going to move into locust pose. So your arms can come down alongside your hips. You might turn your head or you might have your forehead facing down. You want to press your pelvis down, maybe get the legs a little closer together. From here, you could also turn your head so your forehead faces the mat. Inhale when you're ready. It's the upper body first. Inhale, arms, chest, head. Exhale, lift the legs. Now, don't lift your chin too high. We don't want to compress the neck. We want the chin to stay down so the back of the neck is long. Fingers and toes reaching behind you, shoulders together. Keep breathing. Can you stay for 5 more breaths? Shoulders back. Good. Let it go when you're ready. You can turn the head. You could also go back to crocodile. If you keep turning your head, just turn it the other way. Now we want to be careful going to our backs. You might roll to your back and that could feel okay. Just be very careful and slow doing that. Also, we have the option to come back up to table, come to your hands and your knees, come up to a long table, your navel is lifted. Then you could slowly transition to take a seat and come down to your back. So on your back, we're gonna do a couple things. You can have your strap handy, and you can have your block handy. If it's not a block, maybe it's a pillow. And then from here, we're gonna come down all the way. Now once you're on your back, let's start with a bridge pose. You're gonna walk your feet in, shoulders are down under you. Then from here, make sure your knees don't open, they don't close. They just stay in this neutral position. So they have a little space between them. There's some space between your feet, same space between your knees. Now when you do this, you don't want to turn your head. So if you need to watch me do it, you can, and then turn your head back when you start the pose. So you would close your eyes or be gazing at your ceiling. Engage your navel first, so we don't overdo it with the back. Inhale, lifting up. Then find your bridge. You might stay here. You might interlace your hands under. Walking the shoulders under is an option. You also can just keep your hands on the mat, pressing the hands down. Make sure your feet are flat. Your big toes are pressing down. Don't let them lift up. Lift your hips gently. Inner thighs engage. Again, maybe 5 more breaths. It's up to you. Melting down carefully. Your arms will come out first. Then you roll down. Now we can release the low back by hugging the knees into the chest, but you can't lift up your shoulders. The way to think about not rounding your back here is keep your shoulders on the ground. So could you let your knees come in one at a time, maybe even barely touching them, or just hold the sides of the legs so your shoulders don't lift up at all. So if I exaggerate, we would never want to just hug the legs with low bone density and just kind of squeeze them tight, because it could be not so great for the neck and for the thoracic spine. It could be a little vulnerable when you're in that flexion. So keep your shoulder blades down. That's the best thing you can do there. And then rock left and right if you haven't yet. Rock a little left and right. Now let's go ahead and let the feet come down and let's use the strap. So the video has gotten a little longer than 15 or 20 minutes, but that's okay. Once you have the strap, let's take it around the right foot. Take it to the ball of the foot, lengthening up. So from here, we're just going to do this first pose today. You want to make sure that you have the strap around the ball of the foot. You're pressing through the whole foot. Your right knee is not locked. Your shoulders are down. That is very important. So the left knee can stay bent here if that helps protect your low back, if that feels good. If you want to slide your left foot forward, I want you to do it slowly to make sure it feels okay today. But then that left foot has to stay active. Navel up and in, shoulders down. So your hands might help you a little, but your shoulders can't round. Breathe into the legs. Good. Awesome job. Slide that left foot back. Bend your right knee. You can guide the right foot back to the earth. Let's switch feet. You can take the strap around your left leg. From here, take it to the ball of the foot. Take the left leg up to the sky. Flexing the left foot. Make sure you press up through the foot. Not just the heel, but also the ball of the foot. And then don't lock your left knee. Go through all those steps again. Your hands can hold the strap. Your shoulders are not off the floor. They're relaxed. Your head's relaxed. Good. Now that last step, if you want to keep your back really protected, just keep your right knee bent. If you feel really open today, slide that right foot forward. Finding where you can melt your shoulders again. Keep both feet active. All right, go ahead and slide that foot back in. Now it's your left foot. It should be your left foot. You bend your knee, bring that foot to the earth. Now I want to do a final twist. So you can move your strap. You can take your block or your pillow to the left side. I know you can't see it once I do that. And this is going to be a twist where you can shift your hips over to the right, but you have to keep your shoulders down. You have to keep your arms and shoulders down. It's just the best thing for low bone density. You don't want to round here. So you might take your hips, I'll say that again, take your hips over to the right side of your mat. Your knees can come in a little bit and move to the left side, but my shoulder has to stay down. So that's why I have the block there. Because if I don't have the block, that arm might want to start to float up, and that's not good for the spine. It's not good for the shoulder, for the rotator cuff. It's just not the pose, okay? So as you relax your shoulders and arms, if they feel tight, you can always lower your hands a little bit. You want your legs to completely relax. So sometimes we need an extra pillow. And then you could maybe keep the chin down and turn your head to the right. So your legs are left, your arms are relaxed. Only if this feels good for your neck, you'll turn to the right. And then melt into it. You made it to your final twist. Let your body soften. And now this part is important also. When you come out, engage your navel. You have to protect your back. So with your own muscles, engage your navel, let your knees come back up. Perfect. And then let your hips come back. We can do it the other way. Take your block to the right side. You can stretch your arms out to where it's comfortable. Your hips can shift over to the left. That helps us not to arch the back so much. You can have your knees come in, they move towards the right, and you can always kind of move that blanket, block, pillow, whatever you have, so that you have enough support for the legs. You really want them to relax. Shoulders are down. If it feels good for the neck, we turn to the left. Completely melting again. Let go of effort. And feel your breath. And remember, it's the core engagement coming out. Navel up and in. Exhale, you can lift your knees. Now from the middle of your mat, you can take a final stretch. We could hug the knees in, but do not pick up your shoulders. So it can be a bad habit for a lot of us just to overuse our shoulders. Can you keep them down on the ground, keep your shoulder blades down, and really feel that your core can engage. Your knees can come in one at a time. And then just let your legs get heavy, let your low back melt, and you can feel your hands are barely touching your legs, and your shoulders get to melt that way. And you can rock a little bit left and right, just massage your back, maybe circle the knees a couple times. Shoulders stay down. Circle the knees the other way. And then as you bring your feet down, you can take any final stretch you need. We are ready for Shavasana. So for your Shavasana, you'll stretch out the legs if that feels okay, or you could keep your knees bent. You can let your body start to settle and start to melt. You can stay right where you are. I'm going to show you one more option. If you ever want to set this up now or the future, this can be really good for the sacrum, for releasing the low back. So you could have your legs up on a chair or the couch. Once I lay down, you can see I kind of scoot my hips towards the couch, and that can lengthen the pelvis and lengthen the low back. Then you just melt into it. You just completely relax. So in Shavasana, you find your resting pose. Like I said, you can lay flat, you can have your knees bent, or you could put your legs up a wall, you could put your legs on the chair. I'm going to have you stay in your Shavasana, not for very long, but we'll do at least 2 or 3 minutes together. And I'm just sitting up because it's a little easier to talk to you, but you can stay where you are in Shavasana. And you want to let go of all the work. Let go of any holding. Completely melt to the floor. And come back to your breath. And let your breath be slow and steady. And you let go of effort around your breath. your joints can soften. And your bones become heavy. Let the whole body become heavy. And can you just take one more quiet minute where you are in Shavasana? This can calm down your nervous system. Let your breath be slow. Let everything melt away. Allow yourself to rest, to breathe. And watch. If you've been dealing with stress lately in your life, I'll invite you maybe to stay here a little longer. This spinal decompression is so good when you have a diagnosis of low bone density, because this can take all the pressure off of your vertebrae and your spine. So it's up to you. If you want to stay for another 5 or 10 minutes, you can always stop the video and just relax. If you're ready to come out, you don't want to sit up first. You just want to deepen your breath. So try to lay on the floor, deepen your breath. We want to transition very slowly, moving hands and feet, moving different parts of the body. And eventually you can roll to one side. You don't want to sit up right away. You want to relax your head, relax on your side. Your head might be on your hands or on that pillow or blanket. Even your arms. Sometimes we like the head on the arm. And then you just want to very carefully and slowly press into the floor. And if you're coming up to sitting, you can sit on the sit at the floor, maybe crossing the legs. If you're coming back to the chair, we can do that slowly. And we'll end our practice here together. So as you come back to the chair, finding your own alignment, I'm going to turn just so we can talk about the spine a little bit more. Feel your sit bones pressing into the chair. Where you were standing before, can you just gently take your hands to those same spots? Navel, one hand to the navel, up and in. One hand to the sacrum, not the low back, not the curve. We want the curve. Go lower. Feel that where your pelvis is. Feel that bone. Feel that joint. That's your sacrum, right in the middle. Then from here, can you feel the navel come up and in? The sacrum draw in a little bit towards the body. Tailbone points down, so you feel that work happening. Hands can come back, they can relax on the legs, so we're not rounding the spine. You can always put a pillow behind to support that curve. Shoulders roll back. Crown of the head is reaching up. Can your chin come down a little bit towards your throat? So we get a beautiful long spine here. Feel your balance between effort and ease. Close your eyes. Feeling your sit bones press down to the earth, to the chair. The crown of the head reaches up. Let's take hands to heart center to start our practice, to end our practice. Maybe you can tell it's been a long week for me, but I wanted you to have this video. I really, really did. So as we end our practice, your hands come together. Think of your own intention, if you have an intention, stepping away from the mat. What is it? Bring that to your heart. And the light in me honors and reflects the light within you. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing today. I do have a Sunday class. It's called Osteo Grow Yoga. I host it with physical therapy at Crossroads. It's every Sunday on Zoom from 10 to 11:15. So please reach out if you have any questions. Again, I'm Kate Anderson. My website is meditatewithkate.info. So you can check out more information there about my Sunday class. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, week,